So, hello everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a channeler, and I'm 102. And a daily dose of hope is just that. I was guided to come on daily to give a dose of hope as the energies on our planet are stand. And so, what I'm doing is just kind of giving a bit of hope and saying it's going to be okay. So, and it's about 7 o'clock Japan Standard Time. And so, what I wanted to talk about what daily dose of hope is. First, I talk about some things that are in the air at the moment, and then I do a channeling, and then we do a pocket of peace on a pocket of peace is a guided meditation. And uh, let's see, hold on a second. Um, yeah, so nice to meet you and nice to see you again. So here we go. The first thing I wanted to talk about was I was talking with my guides today, and I felt yesterday and the day before this just the energy was just off. It was so constricting, so like just you felt like you're just being like crushed. And I didn't know what it was, but it was a very, very, very intense, crushing type of energy. And so I asked them what was happening, and they said people are starting to pick up on the energy. Um, so there's been a big shift. A shift in the energies happened, and because of that, people are picking up on it, but they don't realize that they're from it. They don't know what it's from, and so then that manifests as just you know making things complicated and difficult and stressful. And that was the energy. And what it was that they're picking up on is what my guide said, is that we've taken a bit of a quantum leap in the past few days. Something has happened. They didn't tell me exactly what, but there was whatever it was that happened has sped up the timeline a bit. So I think that with the yin and the yang, so with the side that is not so light, uh, that is what they're feeling as they understand that these structures that are not built on love are falling away, and that there isn't any hope for those structures to survive. All of the structures built on love will, and whatever had happened kind of progressed that forward a little bit further. So that was take it or leave it. And then the other thing I was uh, thinking about was a few days ago, I watched an old Suzanne Vega video called Tom's Diner. I'm not sure. Some people might have been familiar if you're about my age. Um, in the '80s, there was a really famous song called Tom's Diner, and it was written by Suzanne Vega, and it actually became the first song ever to become an MP3. Um, so the person who invented the MP3 format decided to use her song as the first song. So, but that's beside the point. But I was watching the video, and I was picking up on this. I remember that time that she was making that video. I could feel it from the video, and it reminded me of that time. In that time in the '80s, there was so much more time. There was so much more space. There's so much more time in life just to wander and just to be, and is very, very different compared to the time now. This is a very, very constricted and crazy time that we're in. And I mean, it is what we signed up for. But just looking at that video and thinking back, like, that we used to be like that. We used to just have all this time, and we didn't have social media. We didn't have smartphones. Some people had those big, bulky phones, but no one really. They were too expensive. So people just, if you go to the cafe, you just sit in the cafe, maybe read a magazine or stare out the window. And it's a very different time. And even though it's not that long ago, almost a different dimension to as to where we are now. Now it's just this constricted energy, and every day it's just this barrage of new things and new information and new energies. So it's a very different time. But I do remember when I was in that time, waiting for a time like this, thinking like, is anything ever going to happen? Nothing's happening. Why is nothing ever happening? But now when everything's happening, you think, that was a nice time when nothing was happening. The grass is always greener, right? So, and the third thing, final thing I wanted to talk about was, and I might not get this right because um, the messengers. So there are many messengers of information out there in internet land, internet world, and what I found is very interesting is that sometimes some of the messengers are really hard to listen to. Like it's really hard to get through their message. The message is really good, but the way that it's being presented, it's very hard to hear. And I thought that was something interesting. I think what that is at times is those types of messages are meant to kind of shake you up a bit. And the messages, the reason they're hard to hear is I think they're coming from outside of the matrix. It's so the matrix itself, our we created the matrix. So our belief in the matrix has created these things and these uh, messengers as and they seem a little bit abrasive. And I found that this is just an interesting thing. I don't know what it means. Um, but yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. Just that a lot of celebrities are becoming or have been messengers recently, and but they've been losing their power of their celebrity power of messaging, which is nice. Um, I often find at times on, for example, Japanese TV, they'll be discussing some political thing on TV, and there'll be two comedians there. It's just like we don't need to hear the comedians. They don't know anything about this. They've spent their life, practicing their routine and trying to make people laugh. It's just we don't really need their opinion in this situation. It's like the comedians are not the messengers that we want to hear. We want to hear stories from them. We want to hear jokes from there. But when they try to become, you know, the actual message, it just seems like, I don't know. You're trying to pull one on me here. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. But I think it's really cool and really interesting in our planet now that we are gaining a lot of discernment and we're gaining the ability to see beyond and to see what a message is and to understand what's really going on. So I think that's really cool. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I think the last point wasn't very clear, but well. Getting a little sensation here. So hello, everyone. Hey, Michael. So, yeah, let's go into a channeling and yeah, maybe they can, yeah, let's ask if they can shed any more light on what happened. What is this big shift that just happened? And yeah, let's go that. And any other messages that they'd like us to hear. Hmm. Greetings, we are that one that you know of as Raphael. And we are here on these beautiful times on your planet. These, as was said by this being many times, the last vestiges of the third dimension. And we are very happy to be in this time, to be sharing this time with you. It is, in a sense, a bit of a nostalgic time, even though it hasn't ended yet. But in reality, it's already ended, and you are already on the other side. But this is a playing out of ideas and playing out of images and words and sounds. And so that is what you're going through at the moment. And so, but there is a sense of nostalgia related to it because while it just ended, many are looking back to this time of transitions of things going so quickly, longingly. And they remember this time that they were going through, this time that you are going through at this moment, this time where everything is moving very, very quickly and it feels very constricted and it's very hard to process all of the different things that are happening. But what we would say then is that what this shift that happened in your planet was a shift, it was an energetic shift. Because all of you have been doing so much shadow work, and so many of you have been opening your hearts up to understanding what is true and what is not true, to discernment. Because of that, that was the trigger, that catalyst that pushed this timeline further into the future. You see, enough of you are awake and seeing what is truly going on and understanding the true story that is going on behind all of the other stories. And because of that, the steps that were already planned in this ascension, many of them had needed to be skipped because there was no necessity for them. You see, the ascension plan, there are many, many different steps depending on humanity's conscious level, where they are at any moment. And you have shifted greatly. You have taken a quantum leap in your openness. And so we have been able to skip many of the steps, the in between steps that we were going to take. And so this is, yes, a nice time, a wonderful time. Although this constriction will continue, this transition period is not over, but it has sped up greatly, is what we would say. And you will start to see that in the coming months, how things will shift and change. And understand, though, that all of these things are just, it is just a falling away of old foundations that were not built on love, that were not built on the truth, which is love and which is you are love. And only the foundations, only things with foundations built on love will remain. And you will build up the new foundations as well. They are already built as well. Most of them are already built. And as we have said before, you are already at the end of this process, but you are looking back and experiencing it on a second to second basis in order to learn everything that you can learn from it. But understand that it is already over as well, and that everything worked perfectly, and you are perfect, and you are love, and there's nothing to worry about. Although visually it will look sometimes a bit difficult and a bit different, understand that these are just images, and they're the images of an old paradigm falling away and making way for a new paradigm. We are that one that you know of as Raphael. All right. All right. So hey, okay, so Lisa and Michael are in. Yay. So yeah, so okay, so new paradigm. So then I brought my bowl today, my A bowl, and I thought we would just do a pocket of peace with the A bowl. Um, yeah, and the topic of the pocket of peace for today is what would be the topic for today? Why don't we make it the topic of hmm, yeah, just being able to stay on our board when even when these crazy energies and emotions hit us, that we can just, yeah, that we're stable, stability. So here we go. So I'd like you to take a few deep breaths. Good, okay. And then I'd like you to just imagine that there is a mist of unconditional love surrounding you. It's just surrounding you like a cloud, a gentle mist surrounding you, and it is a mist of unconditional love. You feel loved unconditionally. There's nothing that you need to do or say or think or be. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to regret. You're just loved unconditionally as you are right now, in this second, in this moment right now. You are perfect. You're absolutely and utterly perfect as you are. And just feel that unconditional love surrounding you. And then this love, just, it makes you feel like there's nothing that you have to do. You're fine. You're perfect as you are. And there's nowhere that you need to go, nothing that you need to do. And then just expand this out a little bit more into the room that you're in, and then into the town that you're in, and then into the whole country, and then the whole world. The whole world is surrounded by this mist of unconditional love. And it just surrounds you and just makes you feel like everything's okay. And just imagine everyone in the whole world just stopping for a few seconds and feeling this and thinking, ah, this is quite nice. I feel good. I feel really wonderful. This is how I'd love to feel all of the time. I feel like I'm in love and I'm loved unconditionally. I feel good. I haven't felt this way in a long time. It's so nice. And there's nothing that I have to do, say, do, go. There's nothing that I have to worry about. There's no past to worry about. There's no future to worry about. All I have to do is just be right here, right now, in this love, being in love. Ah, and just savor this feeling and understand that this feeling is something that you can call up whenever you need it, whenever you find yourself down in the dumps, or when the world kind of knocked the wind out of you, or when your life is just getting a little bit too much. Just take this pocket of peace out of your pocket and just connect with this energy of unconditional love and just being in love. And just imagine how wonderful it would be if the whole world was in love at this moment, in every moment. So, all right. All right. So, pocket of peace for day 102. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Lisa and Michael, for joining in. It's good. Enjoy. I appreciate you joining in, and yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to have people in the group. It changes the channelings. Interestingly enough, the energy. So, thank you, Michael. Yeah. So, guys, I that is the end of Pocket of Peace Day 102. I hope you guys are hopeful, and I will see you guys tomorrow if all works well. So, ciao.